The sound wasn't a crash, it was a wet, electrical hiss, the sharp scent of burning plastic filling the air. I stood frozen as $3,500 vanished in a cloud of smoke. My nephew Jackson sneering at the ruined PC, while my brother Lucas pointed at me red-faced and furious. And yet, in that moment, a strange calm washed over me. Have you ever been blamed for someone else's mess, carrying the weight of responsibility that wasn't yours? If so, you know exactly how this feels. On paper, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Lumina Events, a luxury event planning firm that handles six-figure weddings, corporate galas for tech giants, and private retreats for clients who wouldn't even book their own flights. But in reality, I'm the ghost in the machine. While Lucas strolls into rooms wearing his Italian suit, shaking hands, charming clients, and basking in the spotlight as the visionary I am backstage, orchestrating every detail. I'm the one in the hallway headset on corralling florists who brought the wrong flowers, renegotiating catering contracts after promises Lucas made that we couldn't afford, juggling payroll across 3 different accounts just to make sure everyone is paid on time. I am the architect of every seamless experience, while Lucas is the billboard that everyone admires. The contrast between his public persona and my invisible labor is stark. Lucas talks about aesthetics vibes and the excitement of the event, smiling for the cameras and toasting clients with champagne. Meanwhile, I carry the weight of logistics. No one notices the hours spent fixing mistakes, covering financial gaps, and extinguishing crises that would have sunk the company if I hadn't intervened. Every decision, every problem, every unexpected catastrophe falls squarely on my shoulders, and yet no one applauds me. No one thanks me. They see the perfection, they see the charm they see. Lucas and I become invisible. I've learned to be reliable without recognition. It's a skill honed from years of watching Lucas glide through life while I caught the debris behind him. The endless nights, the constant problem solving, the emotional labor of maintaining the companies and his image, it all adds up. And it's exhausting. The kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones that leaves you drained before you even step out the door in the morning. Yet every misstep, every disaster I avert reinforces the cycle. I am indispensable, and the company and my brother depend on me. That invisible tether holds everything together. Sometimes I reflect on what it means to be the reliable one. There's a strange pride, yes, but it's laced with a frustration that never fully goes away. Being the unseen force means your worth is measured not by applause, but by the smooth functioning of systems no one else thinks about. You become both anchor and scaffolding, and while others celebrate the visible success, you carry the weight of every hidden struggle. The role is thankless, unglamorous, but utterly necessary. And over time, I realized that being indispensable also meant being trapped in a narrative. I didn't choose one where my labor was invisible, my sacrifices unnoticed, and my own identity blurred behind the image of someone else. The Glass House is a modern minimalist villa, every inch designed to impress floor-to-ceiling windows, sweeping views of the city, the kind of place that screams success. Lucas lives there with his wife Bianca and their son Jackson, but make no mistake, it's a house I pay for. I signed the lease, categorized it under company expenses, kept the bills paid, and essentially created the illusion of Lucas as a wealthy CEO. On the outside, he is the king of this castle, and everyone believes it. On the inside, I am the one keeping the lights on, literally and figuratively. Bianca's presence adds another layer to the tension. She glides through the house like a perpetual photo shoot, always appearing busy but never actually working. The moment I walk in, she sizes me up with that familiar, pitying smile, her latte in hand, and says something like, "Oh, Elena, that blazer again. We really need to get you a stylist. It reflects poorly on the brand when the COO looks like she shops at a discount rack." I want to tell her that the blazer costs more than her entire work ethic, but I don't. I just nod. Take the criticism and absorb it silently. The invisible labor continuing as it always has. The pattern is relentless. I manage the finances, cover mistakes, and ensure the household doesn't collapse under its own weight, while Lucas and Bianca float through life performing the part of a perfect family to the outside world. Every day is a delicate balance of keeping the house pristine, the staff in line, the bills paid, and the image untarnished. The emotional toll is immense. The exhaustion isn't just physical, it's the kind that settles into your bones, a constant reminder that your contributions go unnoticed. Every chore I complete, every problem I fix, every crisis I avert is invisible to the very people who benefit most from it. Jackson, meanwhile, thrives in this bubble of indulgence. He sees the house, the toys, the luxury, but he doesn't see the work behind it. He doesn't understand the late nights, the negotiations, the careful orchestration that keeps the family's image intact. And that ignorance becomes a breeding ground for entitlement, a spark waiting to ignite. Living in this dynamic, supporting a household where the financial and emotional burdens are mine alone, sets the stage for inevitable conflict. Every slight, every condescending comment, every unacknowledged effort builds tension, layering resentment with each passing day. I am the engine, the fixer, the silent caretaker, and yet I am also a human being with limits. The stage is set, not with drama or pretense, but with the quiet accumulation of frustration and the invisible labor that finally reaches a breaking point. And that breaking point isn't far off. It's waiting in the wings, ready to expose the imbalance in stark, undeniable clarity. It was a little past midnight when my phone buzzed again, dragging me from the rare comfort of sleep into the relentless pull of responsibility. Lucas's voice came through breathless and panicked. "Elena, you need to log in right now. The budget spreadsheet for the gala, it's broken. The formulas are gone. The client is asking for projections in the morning and the whole file is corrupted." My heart sank, muscles tensed, yet I already knew the drill. I dragged myself out of bed, opened my laptop, logged into the server, and pulled up the file. It wasn't corrupted. He had simply minimized the toolbar. I clicked a button, restored the formulas, and told him it was fixed. Oh, he said a laugh that carried no apology. "You're a lifesaver. I don't know what I'd do without you. You know my brain doesn't work that way." For years, I believed him. I thought he was scatterbrained, a creative genius who got lost in his visionary thinking and couldn't be bothered with the mundane details. But that night, staring at the blue light of my screen in the dark, I finally saw the truth. Lucas wasn't incapable. He was precise in what he chose to care about. He could memorize every stat in the NFL, calculate complex sports bets in his head, edit social media images with the precision of a professional designer. He was deliberate in his ignorance, weaponizing incompetence to force me into a role I hadn't asked for, but had been trained to accept. If he acted helpless enough, I would step in. And I always did. It wasn't just spreadsheets, utility bills, renewals, payroll, client follow-ups, anything Lucas pretended to misunderstand. forget, or ignore. I had to catch. I was a silent partner, the unseen operative ensuring the company didn't collapse, that the house stayed lit, and that no one outside ever glimpsed the cracks. It was exhausting. The weight of 2 lives Lumina events and my brother's household rested on me, quietly, crushing my personal space and my sense of self. And why did I keep picking up the phone at midnight? Because of a promise made years ago in a sterile hospital room. Our parents, founders of Lumina events, were fading their hands, weak in mine. My father had whispered his grip, trembling. Lucas shines, but he burns fast. You have to be the rock. Promise me you won't let him fall. Keep the family together. The rock. That word had stayed with me. It was a promise, a duty, a weight that neither time nor exhaustion could lighten. Being the rock isn't just about solving problems. It's about enduring them silently, absorbing the stress and disappointment of others while your own needs remain invisible. There's no acknowledgement, no applause, no credit. Just the ongoing expectation that you will hold everything upright, keep everyone afloat, and never let the facade crack. And for years I did. I became both anchor and scaffolding, covering mistakes, absorbing frustration, and shielding the family and the company from the consequences of Lucas's decisions. But carrying that weight, supporting both a brother who wielded helplessness as a weapon and a company that relied on my unrecognized labor, began to erode the edges of who I was. I realized that my parents hadn't just entrusted me with responsibility. They had entrusted me with captivity of a sort. I had promised to be the rock to keep the family together, but in doing so, I had buried myself under layer after layer of obligation, invisible labor, and emotional exhaustion. And yet, even as I felt that crushing weight, I understood something crucial. Understanding the pattern was the first step toward reclaiming control, toward seeing the system for what it was, and preparing to confront it on my own terms. The day of Jackson's birthday felt less like a celebration and more like a coronation. The glass house had been transformed into a glittering showroom. Silver balloons arching over the entryway, a DJ booth set up by the infinity pool, and tables groaning under the weight of catering that cost more than my first car. Investors floated through the rooms, glasses in hand, ostensibly here for the child's milestone. But really, this was a networking event disguised as a birthday party. Lucas worked the crowd, laughing too loudly at jokes that weren't funny, holding a scotch he didn't pay for. Projecting the image of a perfect, successful father, Bianca moved with practiced ease, circulating among the wives, pointing out architectural details, maintaining the illusion of effortless wealth. I carried the heavy box through the side entrance, my arms straining not just from the physical weight, but from the emotional load it represented. Inside was the custom-built PC Jackson had demanded. Weeks of scouring forums, calling vendors, tracking down parts during supply shortages, and paying $3,500 out of my own account. It was supposed to be a peace offering, a chance to buy a moment of calm, a fleeting acknowledgement of effort. I set the box down on the gift table, already overflowing with presents, hoping to avoid another scene. Jackson lounged on the white leather couch, scrolling on his phone, bored disconnected from the extravagance around him. "Happy birthday, Jax," I said, forcing enthusiasm into my voice. He glanced up, his expression momentarily piqued as he saw the size of the box. The unwrapping began, and for a split second it seemed like he might actually appreciate it. The room quieted. People love a spectacle, and a box this big demands attention. Lucas drifted over, sensing an opportunity to showcase his role as provider. "Look at that," he announced proudly to the room. "Only the best for my boy." The machine inside was perfect. Sleek white casing, internal LED strips, liquid cooling loops gleaming under the light. But Jackson's eyes narrowed as he inspected the specs list. "Wait," he said, his voice low but cutting through the silence. "This says RTX 480. I stepped closer, trying to smile, trying to maintain control. "Yeah, it's a beast, Jax. The 4090 is on back order everywhere. Literally impossible to get. But the 4080 is still top of the line." "You got the 4080, he interrupted, voice sharp with disgust. "I told you the 4090. This is the old version. It came out 2 months ago." My smile faltered. "It's top of the line." "It's garbage," Jackson shouted, standing abruptly. His face twisted into a performative rage, a mask I had seen Lucas use countless times to manipulate and intimidate. And then it happened. Jackson lifted an open can of energy drink neon blue sludge glinting under the party lights. He tilted it over the open top of the PC case, letting the liquid pour directly into the motherboard and cooling system. The hiss was immediate, the sharp scent of ozone and burnt sugar filling the room. Sparks, popped smoke curled lazily upward, and in seconds, $3,500 of carefully sourced technology was gone. I froze, expecting Lucas to intervene to grab his son to reclaim control. But he didn't. His eyes scanned the room, the investors, the staff, the chaos reflected in their expressions, and he needed a villain. And that villain was me. Elena, Lucas roared, his face crimson with fury. "What is wrong with you? You bought the cheap version. You embarrassed him. You ruined his birthday." Bianca glided over, calm and terrifying, her hand protectively on Jackson's shoulder. "Elena, you triggered him. This is incredibly selfish of you. You're always so cheap, trying to cut corners with our family." "Cheap?" I whispered it to myself. I paid for this, every last dollar of it. And yet I was being accused of ruining the moment, being told to apologize to a boy who had just destroyed something valuable, while the adults applauded him, protected him, and directed their fury at me. I stood there frozen, the smoke curling around me, the room holding its breath as the surreal weight of the moment settled in. I had been handed the impossible task fix, the unfixable apologize for the crime of trying and absorb the humiliation of a system designed to keep me invisible, even as I held the family and the company together. I didn't slam the door. Slamming the door is what a teenager does, what an emotional, hysterical woman does, what Lucas wanted me to do, because it would have proved him right. So instead, I closed it softly, a quiet refusal to perform the drama he craved. I walked past the investors, their glasses still catching the light, past the catering staff frozen mid-motion, past the silver balloons that arched over the driveway. Each step felt deliberate, measured, as if claiming a little space back that had been stolen from me for years. When I reached my car, the sedan, parked beside Lucas's least impressive Porsche, I paused. The silence inside was heavy, yet it was mine. I placed my hands on the steering wheel, expecting them to shake, expecting tears to sting my eyes, expecting that familiar, crushing weight of guilt. But my hands stayed steady, my breath even, and then I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, not the kind that comes from relief or joy. It was a smile born from clarity, from the slow, powerful realization that the cell door had never been locked, that I had always had the choice to step away. For years, I had been terrified of being the bad guy. I swallowed insults, paid bills, covered mistakes, absorbed chaos, all for fear of being labeled selfish. I worried that if I drew boundaries, if I refused to fix someone else's mess, I would be cast aside, judged as uncaring, or worse, as unworthy of the family I'd been holding together. But sitting in that car, the reflections of the glass house shimmering in the rearview mirror, I finally understood. The truth: they never wanted a sister. They never wanted an aunt. They wanted a servant, someone to bear the burdens they couldn't or wouldn't acknowledge. And in that moment, I chose myself. I chose to reclaim dignity that had been chipped away piece by piece. I embraced the role they would label villainous, understanding that it was only in stepping into that uncomfortable space that I could finally assert agency. There was empowerment in the acceptance, a deep, resonant knowledge that refusing to be complicit in their manipulation did not make me selfish. It made me human. The doormat, the invisible laborer, the silent savior could finally stand up and exist on her own terms. The villain in their story was no longer a mark of shame. It was my declaration of independence, a reclamation of self-respect that had been buried under years of expectation, obligation, and invisible toil. The next day, I executed every measure I had planned, transferring Lucas's slush fund into secured escrow, terminating his lease on the company-owned glass house, and revealing the embezzlement evidence during a high-stakes investor lunch. Lucas was publicly humiliated, forced to accept a commission-only role, and I asserted control over the company, holding 51% of the shares. In that moment, I realized I was no longer a savior, just the boss, and that was enough. If Elena's story resonated, consider showing support with a like or subscribing for more real-life moments of empowerment.